Is it just me or does Jeremy look like he's a pilot and he's ready to take us off? Oh, well, I'm glad I spoke up, Jeremy.
Okay, wonderful. Linda, is there anything we need to read before, or we can just start?
No, you could just start.
Okay. I am very happy that we are here today together and that we are going to all connect with the college forum. We are going to have Mary DeMario speaking with us today, and I know you are here, and we will get started with your address to the board and some of the other VPs so that we can hear what you have to say and we can have a discussion with you.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Chair Lovenheim, President Douglas, trustees, and colleagues for allowing me this time to speak with you today. My name is Dr. Marianne DeMario, and I've worked in the Institutional Research Office at MCC for close to 15 years. Over the past few years, I've been able to focus my research on an important group of students, student parents, who make up 18 to 31% of MCC's student body each year. Now, John Dellett, who's the Associate VP of Student Services, is known for saying, always start with a story. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you a brief story about a woman named Samantha. That's not her real name. Samantha was a wife and a mother. She had a GED and a job, but not a career. One day, she told her husband that she wanted to go to college, get a degree, and have a career. He left her. Unwavering in her resolve, Samantha enrolled at MCC and earned a place in one of our most competitive programs. She lived below the poverty line, as 93% of MCC's single moms do, but she went to class, took care of her kids, and worked part-time off campus. In order to make it to the various clinical settings she needed to go to as part of her academic program, Samantha took out a loan to pay a babysitter to come to her house every morning at 4:30 a.m. It was the only way she could make it to her clinical sites on time and still make sure that her oldest child made it to school. Samantha once told me, quote, "I really don't have much of a social life. All I do is school and work and come home and do housework and stuff for the kids. I mean, that's it," unquote. Fast forward to May 2020. Amid a global pandemic, MCC's shift to remote classes, and parenting 3 kids under age 10, one of whom she now had to homeschool, Samantha graduated from MCC with a B+ average. When asked what the best thing about MCC had been, she stated, quote, "MCC made me. I grew so much. I really thank MCC for my professional identity," unquote. By coming here to MCC, Samantha not only improved her life, but the lives of her 3 kids. Samantha's drive and hard work are typical of MCC's student parents, but unfortunately, her success is atypical. Jeremy, if you could show that first slide that I had sent Linda yesterday. No, I see a folder at the desktop. Yes. So student parents, these are college students who are parents, are hardworking, dedicated people who are not here because someone told them to be, but because they want to make a better life for themselves and their families. As you can see here, they spend more time on their schoolwork than our students who aren't parents, and they earn higher grades their first semester here than our non-parents. But they have a much lower chance of ever graduating from MCC because they're pulled in so many different directions. Before COVID, student parents were at a high risk of dropping out because of financial poverty, something called time poverty, and a host of other vulnerabilities. In COVID, however, their risk has escalated. Jeremy, if you could switch to that second slide. As a colleague and a friend of mine at the Institute for Women's Policy Research in Washington, D.C. recently said, the coronavirus has compounded the financial and time management challenges facing parenting students, making an already steep climb to graduation even steeper. Along with a sometimes difficult transition to remote learning for themselves and their children, student parents are coping with the loss of income and childcare that made attending college possible for many. Student parents sit at the intersection of so many vulnerabilities. All the things that make it difficult for parents to study in normal times are even sharper now. MCC can help our student parents and their families through the pandemic and beyond, but we have to keep them on our radar. Losing so many employees in August, particularly in our student services division, concerns me. There are things that we can do that can cross MCC divisions and offices, but we have to act soon. The future of multiple generations rests in our hands. It would be a dereliction of duty to allow our student parents to fall between the cracks now when they and their kids need us the most. Thank you. Oh, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Marianne, as you're looking at this situation that you've just described, what do you feel that the college, in your estimation, needs to do?
Whenever people on the national scale ask me this question, I say, the first thing we need to do is listen to the student parents. They can tell us more about their experiences and their needs than any PowerPoint slides or any data can. I think MCC, I was thinking about this before I turned on Zoom, if you'll indulge me for a minute.
Oh, sure.
Has anyone seen the movie, The Silence of the Lambs? There is a scene in that movie where Jodie Foster and the other FBI agents are watching the TV news about the crimes that have been occurring. And it lasts less than 10 seconds, but one of the agents says, let's figure out what's working for us, and then we can formulate a plan to move forward. So that's always sort of my go-to thing I tell myself. So on the plus side, MCC has so many employees and people in administration who really genuinely care about this population of students. And we've already started the groundwork. Luckily, things like Dream Keepers and Dream Keepers Express and Dwight and the Wegman Scholarship and other scholarships are in place, and they're there to help our student body en masse. But our student parents have this intersectionality of vulnerabilities. So they're more likely to be housing insecure and food insecure and have something like a flat tire get in the way of their finishing the semester. So MCC already has a lot of these things in place. I think what we need to do is formalize services that are specifically for our student parents. So they have needs above and beyond those of our other students who are at risk. They've told us childcare is a big one. And during COVID, as none of us who are parents anticipated, we ended up as our children's teachers in one effect or another. So our MCC student parents aren't just students themselves, they're also working as teachers right now. And there are a lot of complications that come with that. And the MCC was one of 4 colleges nationwide who received the Single Mom Success Design Challenge a couple of years ago. So we have that, and that will create initiatives for our student parents specifically. But then once those are tested and we know which ones work, it can be scaled up to help all of our learners.
as we're looking at this situation, we look at it within a financial context too. As you know, we've had to make many choices at MCC that have been difficult during these last few months. How do you see the needs that you're talking about working with the financial pressures that we are under at MCC?
I, for our student parents, I surveyed them last summer 2019, and the data was very rich with information on their needs and what we can do. And their number one need was access to affordable childcare meaning more than just daycare, meaning after school care, meaning summer day camps. And one thing that, again, needs to be more formalized, but MCC has a partnership with the Child Care Council. It's located on Blossom Road in Rochester. It's federally funded. And what they do is they work with parents, not just student parents, but any parents, for free to find out what kind of childcare they need. Do they want it near their home, near their school, near their work? When do they want it? What types of things are they looking for in a program? And so officially, MCC is supposed to refer student parents to the Child Care Council in order to find daycare, after school care, summer camps. But I think we need to tighten up that relationship a little bit more. I know Single Stop has different child care providers listed in it, but the Child Care Council is actually supposed to be the go-to source. And that's, like I said, it's federally funded, so it's completely free.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to leverage more partnerships like that, partnerships in the community that provide free services or low-cost services to our student parents.
So I make sure that I'm getting this correct in my mind, that you're saying at this present time, the reason you're coming today to speak with all of us is that you don't feel the college is doing enough to help this particular group of people.
I think we have incredible faculty and staff. I was in a resource committee meeting earlier today, and we were doing sort of a round robin, and people were talking about all that they're doing to help our students en masse. And in terms of, phone conversations and Zoom face-to-face meetings, our employees are so dedicated to seeing our students succeed. I think MCC has laid the groundwork for this work. We just need to move forward with it. And because of the pandemic and because of personnel changes in the last few months, I think things have sort of been on hold, but the groundwork is there. We just need to be able to move forward with it.
May I say something, Chair?
Yes, please. I was going to open this up after I made the questions. Please, Dr. Douglas.
So thank you, Dr. DeMario, for highlighting the importance of the student cohort and for recognizing all that MCC does have and is doing. I know that we have a meeting scheduled this week. I think it's tomorrow, for us to discuss on an operational level at the college level exactly what the situation is and thoughts about how we can move forward. It has been an extremely difficult time, because you've been at the college. The financial pressures were there before, and then came the health challenges, which exacerbated the financial challenges. And so dealing with those has made it extremely difficult, and dealing with all of our students going remote has been certainly a priority. But we are in agreement that it is time to move forward, and I look forward to beginning that conversation at tomorrow's meeting.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The Single Mom Success Design Challenge, we started with a core team of 9 people. We're down to 4, but I think we're still doing really well. The 4 of us are cross-divisional. We're from institutional advancement, administrative services, academic services, and student services. And we've been doing this work for a year and a half. And the first thing that we have sort of on our agenda would be based in academic services. So it would be a COS, college orientation seminar course for single moms, in which they could get an introduction to MCC and MCC processes, primarily because most of our student parents in general, not just our single moms, but most of them are first generation college students.
Mhm.
So their parents can't mentor them through the college process. So yeah, about 70% of our student parents are first generation. So what we're thinking is that if we can, and the design challenge is looking at implementing things on a small scale and testing them and seeing if they work, and then moving on to a bigger scale. So this would be, for example, a COS course for single moms where they would get MCC relevant information, as well as information about childcare resources and other things that they could use that the rest of our student body wouldn't need. And as part of this, it would also help develop a community among this group of students, which is something they really need. A lot of them don't feel like they have support systems. They didn't feel like it before the pandemic. And there's very much just a sense of isolation among them.
I'm sure. And Dr. McKinsey Mabry, do we feel we have the right people in the meeting tomorrow to begin with that kind of specificity?
Yep, absolutely. So I too am looking forward to the meeting with the group tomorrow afternoon. One of the things I just want to touch base on, as a single parent who came to MCC my first semester and then had my daughter and was back the spring semester, I realized the importance of all of the work that we're doing. And I just want to acknowledge Marianne and the group, Marianne for her research. I think it really proved what we knew, but it now gives us the data to take a really close look at how we're serving and supporting our single parents at the college. I think we're really lucky. And so although, yes, Dr. Douglas, the college has faced significant financial challenges, and by losing the people that Marianne mentioned earlier, I think it created an opportunity for us to reimagine our divisions and our departments. And that's what we're able to do in student services. And so one of the things that folks will soon see is that all of the resources that were mentioned on the phone, Dreamkeeper, Single Stop, all of the resources that are available for students, we are now working really hard to align under one department, under one director, and make sure that those staff are working closely together. And so I see that as a great connection here to support our students. One of the other things that some of this research helped us to focus on this year was an intake survey. So the beginning of the semester, what we were able to do is launch a survey out to all of our students, which asked just a handful of questions. So it was a short survey, but it asked questions. Are you responsible for taking care of children or a family member? And so that helped us to really know the incoming students, what their needs were. And we were able to begin addressing those before students even started taking classes with us. And so the data is available for that. And I thank Marianne and I thank the committee. So although the committee is only 4 as we speak, thank you for continuing to meet and do this hard work. I know that folks are taking a look at that workload. It's a really heavy lift. And so I acknowledge the work of our current committee, Kim DeLarge, Victoria, Marianne, and I know I'm missing one more person, my apologies. So thank you for keeping that work going forward. But we are looking at expanding that committee. Tomorrow, once we have a chance, and I have a chance, and Dr. Douglas has a chance to hear from the group, the grant holders, I think it will help us to really determine how we move forward and how we support this work within the institution. But we recognize it is a heavy lift. It's a lot of work that we're trying to do to meet the needs of our students. And so thank you for that. And yes, Dr. Douglas, we will continue to look at leadership for that committee and also expanding the membership.
Thank you.
I had spoken with the committee, the core team for the grant. We've had bi-weekly meetings, just kind of touching base with each other, trying to just kind of keep the project alive. We couldn't really move it forward, but I forget what I was going to say. I talked with the people at the Education Design Lab recently, and they'll be with us tomorrow, but they said they don't really see a big need for more core team members. everything is going to be, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's discussion because I would really like us to get back on track with things, and I would like to hear more about the intake survey data as well, and what the findings were, and what happened with that.
Great. Great. I also asked Dr. Oldham here because he oversees grants, and I didn't know where this conversation might go this afternoon. So I just wanted to touch base with Todd in terms of, is there anything from the financial side of this grant that we should be aware of as we go into this conversation tomorrow, Todd?
Not that I know of. I mean, in terms of discussing with grants, I don't think there's a concern on our end from that perspective, from the fiscal side.
Great. That's always good, because as I always say, I don't look good in those handcuffs as they take me out the door. Those are not the kind of bracelets I like to wear, Todd. Okay. Thank you again, Mary Ann, for your work and for the service that you've provided to our, not only the student parents at MCC, but beyond.
Oh, thank you. It's been an honor to be doing this work.
Great.
On behalf of the board, we're very pleased that you came today, that you educated us on this program. And certainly I will keep up with President Douglas and VP Kim McKinsey Mabry about what's going on, so that the board will be informed about the program and about what you're doing. And if you have other aspects of this that you would like to have the board know about, you can always write to me or write to me through Linda, and I will share it with the board and make sure that they are made aware of whatever it is that you feel we need to know. Is there anything else you would like to share with us about this, or anything else you would like to say?
I guess the only thing would be that I have national ties in this area. I started the student parent movement at MCC, and I was personally invited to be in on the ground floor of the national student parent movement. So I'm part of an initiative at the Aspen Institute that focuses on post-secondary success for parents, and I have friends and colleagues who work at the Institute for Women's Policy Research and in institutions all over the country. So that's another plus that we have with this work, is the benefit of all of these other institutions and organizations and their best practices and what's worked for them and what haven't worked for them. So those connections are key, especially now.
The networking part of it is important too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you shared that with us, and we appreciate it. And we will certainly keep up with the program and with you about what's going on. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish?
No, I think that's it.
Good. Well, thank you for writing it all up. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And we will make sure that as I said, we will keep in touch about all of this.
Thank you so much.
I'll be sure to keep the trustees informed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we'll connect after the meeting.
Yep. Yep. It's interesting that she's saying the Education Design Lab is saying no more team members. I found that very interesting. So I'll be sure to get a better understanding of that tomorrow. Do you have any understanding about that, Kim?
No. It'll be interesting to hear more, because the committee started off with way more than just the 4 remaining folks. And so I thought we were hoping to fill some additional seats on that committee, because it is, I've spoken with some of the current committee members, and it's quite a bit of work. And so I think if there's a little bit larger of a committee, it helps to spread out some of the responsibilities for moving forward the grant. And we're also just taking a look at making sure that we have leadership to keep moving the committee forward. So
Yeah.
I'm interested in tomorrow's discussion as well.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I just want to make sure the trustees are aware of that my predecessor had changed Dr. DeMario's job description and made her 3 days in institutional research and 2 days on the single parent success initiative. And so there was significant time that she could contribute to that. And her job description is no longer 3 days IR, 2 days grant. And we lost, you might recollect, in the various position eliminations. In August, we lost a full-time staff member in IR. And so her job description reverts to the one that she was hired under, and that is full-time with IR. But her college service, absolutely, that can be fully dedicated. And she and I have had that conversation, that her college service can be fully dedicated to this cohort of students.
Would you also, sorry, go ahead, whoever is talking. Does anyone have anything else that they need to say? Anything? Okay, that will be fine then. We can conclude the meeting.